this is Liz from Kingdom Fleece and Fireworks. I have a fiber mill in northern Vermont, so I thought I would hop on and just share what we do in the mill and how we prep things and skirting. A lot of people, this is the beginning of fiber festival season, and there's a lot of new hand spinners out there. So I thought for people that are going to be buying their fleeces for the first time, that they might want to know how to what to look for and how to skirt their fiber to get ready for the mill. Because in case you didn't know, you can buy a 10-pound fleece from a fiber festival at a show and drop them off at the mill, and then you can get your own beautiful roving back. So if you don't want to wash it, you don't have to. You can just drop it off with us, and where you can ship it. You can, whatever. If you're a local, you can just come by and stop by. But if you're not, you can stick it in the mail. So I figured I'd throw that out there and just let everybody know, because new spinners don't know all of the things. You don't know what you don't know. So I thought it might be a good idea. So we have a fiber mill. We do everything from washing to carding to spinning. We actually have a spinning partner, Bat and Kill Fiber Mill. They do the spinning for us because our space right now is too small, but we're working on that, and hopefully soon we'll be spinning. So I thought I'd start with the skirting part and just getting everything ready for what you're going to do for washing. And we'll take you through the whole entire process. That way you'll be good to go and ready to go for when you go to the festival or when you're ready to start washing. That'll be the next video, so stay tuned. So just hang on with me, and I am going to bring the camera down, and then I will show you what I'll be doing. So before I get started, I forgot to mention that I have a skirting table wire. So if you have something with holes, whether it's snow fence or a piece of chicken wire that you can lay things on, that would be great. The next thing that I wanted to say is that you don't really need to have the whole entire fleece if you don't have the space. In our wintertime space, we do not have it, so we just use one section at a time, and it works fine. The chances are having fleece breaks and stuff are slimmer. It still could happen. It doesn't mean it doesn't happen at all, but it could happen, less chance of it happening. So always check them. Take a look. Hopefully you can see that. I think you can. You can see this is the cut end. This is the tips. You want to make sure that these are intact and solid, and you can I give it a good tug. You can kind of hear it like spring back, open, you're going to check and see if there's a fleece break. There's like a clear line, and if you tug on that, they break off, and you don't want that to happen. So you want to check that. Just double check everything. Make sure there's no bugs in it, which I highly doubt. If you're buying from a sale, they will, but if they're been sitting around, open it up and just double check. Make sure there's nothing in them. Go through, and there's like some felty bits. That stuff you want to get out. Then you want to go through and start looking, see if it tends to be more on the back of the sheep. That's where all the hay, they eat on top of each other, they make a mess, and that's this stuff. When they say VM, hopefully you're getting that in this, hopefully you can see that. But that's what the stuff is you don't want to see. If it's just in a section, you just take that section out, because that little stuff is like Velcro, and it does not want to come out. See if I can get up close. But if you look at that, see how it's like all that junk in there? So I make a separate pile for stuff that's really dirty. And that separate pile, I put that all aside, and I throw that into into a separate pile. That way I can, as I'm going through it, I can have ones that are really clean, and then other stuff that is kind of on the edge, and I'll wash it and then kind of see if it falls out. Because you don't have to save every single bit, but you don't want to just throw away stuff for no reason either. So I always put the stuff that's like on the border and put that aside. Like this stuff is really clean. It looks dirty, but it's just the tips are dirty. It's like, the tips are dirty, but the rest of it, there's no vegetable matter in it. So this section is totally good to go. And I would just go through, make sure there's no burdock. See if you can see, um, see if you want to get like that kind of stuff, seed heads and burdock in there. Those are the things you don't want in there when you're skirting. So you go through and just toss that stuff out of there. Make sure there's no more of those. And just kind of go through it and open it up, and just you're really just examining it and getting a good feel of what you have, what you're working with, how dirty it is. And you can do this when you're at the show. Go through the bags and double check there's no fleece breaks, there's no bugs or of any kind. Usually they check them when you're entering into a show. So they usually are the best of the best fleeces. So usually, I should say usually, but not always. It depends on the fairgrounds. It depends on the show. That's something right there. It looks like it's a tip, but I would just toss that because it's not the same staple length as the rest of the fleece. So I would just throw that away and just keep going through it. See if you can get, though, the cleaner you get them from the start, the easier it is in the long run. Because as you're prepping it for washing, you'll find more stuff. But so this is like the quick and dirty version of it, getting all the really junky stuff out, any of the short bits. I'll see if I can find you some britch wool. That way you can kind of get an idea of that. But you will, when you see it, you'll know it. This is all really good stuff. So we're good here, and let's continue on. We'll grab another section and we'll keep going. Okay, I have another fleece to show you some other examples of things. I had to put some cardboard underneath this. Hopefully it'll be less wobbly. The good thing with the chicken wire is great because the stuff falls through. Bad thing for the chicken wire is that you can't set the tripod on it. And I'm going to try and go as slowly as possible so there's no earthquakes from the camera. So hopefully this will work. So this is a CBM fleece. I was looking for, those ones are actually really well skirted. So there was no manure tags. There was no britch wool. They had taken all of that out, which is awesome because it makes my life a whole lot easier. Bad for showing examples. So I found some stuff. This is some CBM that I have, and this was less skirted, and hopefully you can see these ones are a little more like, these ones are kind of dangly, they're felty bits. You can kind of see this is probably on their bellies or their necks. So it's just kind of, it looks grubbier, it looks well worn, it looks, you don't want to have to spin this. So this is not top quality wool. This is stuff that you can wash it. It's still usable for something. You can use it for felting, make the, what do they call them? Like the nesting things that people like, so they can take their wool, like birds can take the wool and make nests with. All different things. So yeah, you can do that for the felting. But these felty bits, if you can see them, they're just not the best quality. So you're going to want to set this aside and put that out of get that out of there. The next stuff I wanted to show you is, this is probably fiber that was on their backs. You can see it has a lot more vegetable matter in it. Hopefully I'm getting this in the right shot on the screen. I keep going out of screen. But yeah, so if you can see that, there's some more vegetable matter in there. Here's some more felty bits. This is just dirtier stuff. And it's not felted, so it will wash out. But I would set that aside. This is stuff that I would be setting aside, and these locks and stuff like that. I would put that aside and use that for something else. Wash it. If it comes out clean, then great, you can use it. If it's not, but you don't need to save every single little bit for like you know, you have a spinning project in mind or whatever. Save this for something else that you not so like the perfect fleece. So you can set that aside. Here's some more really, I'm not even sure where that dark piece came into play, but it's still pretty dirty, so I would get rid of that stuff. This is all probably stuff from, like I said, necks, legs, bellies. And then you come along here, and then all of a sudden you get to really clean stuff. This is stuff that you want to save. So this is fiber that you'd want to save. Set that aside. This is in your good pile. There's really no vegetable matter. You can still see like how, you know, there's a few pieces, but that stuff will come out. It's not the ground in stuff. So this is the stuff you're going to want to keep. I'm getting out of focus, hopefully. So yeah, so this is the good stuff. This is the good fiber. This is the fiber you're going to want to keep. These are the nice locks. They're long, strong. So this is the keep pile. So you're going to just go through each section. Unless you have a big skirting table or you have something that you can set it out on, then you can kind of go through the fleece as you like a whole fleece. But if not, you can do just small sections and go through and grab each section. Good stuff, put it in a good pile, set that aside, set that in the good section. This stuff is probably going to be in the iffy section. This is stuff that's definitely dirtier. It's probably been on their backs. So I would set this aside and not use that as top quality. And keep going through it. And this stuff is like kind of scraggly, but there's no dirt in it. So I would actually set this in the pile too. And because this is probably not terrible fiber. You kind of have to, it's all on a judgment call in how much you are willing to sacrifice, you know, what you're willing to put up with. Like, do you want to have some veggie matter in the fleece when you're spinning it? Does it bother you? Do you want to have it completely have nothing? And it's also on a matter of how much you're going to be prepping it. Like, are you going to be combing it? If you're going to be combing it, you're going to try to be, you want everything super clean and no vegetable matter in it, or are you willing to put up with some vegetable matter? So yeah, so you just want to kind of go through and see what you're willing to put up with. And the more you do it, the more you're going to learn what you want to do and how much you want to put up with. The first time you can do and say, okay, this is awesome. There's not a speck of dirt in it. This is what I want all the time. If you find like a free fleece that's kind of dirty, wash some sections of it and then decide from there and say, okay, I'm never going to do this. This is way too dirty for me, and I'm going to just throw all this section away. So it's all a learning process, and hopefully this is going to help you. Just keep going through it. The more you go through it, the more picky you get, the cleaner it's going to be, and the cleaner it's going to be on the other end. So it's a matter of how much time you want to put into these fleeces. And if you buy a fleece from a show, you probably won't have to do, you know, you will only have a few minutes and then you're done. Then you can start washing it. Or if you're going to a mill, you can drop it off at the mill. So you don't have to worry about it. If you get a bunch of free fleeces from somebody, which trust me, as soon as people know you are a hand spinner or anything like that, you will be surprised at how many people that have sheep you run into. And they'll say, oh, I have so many fleeces in the barn. Can you want to take some? And they'll be willing to give them to you. So, but on the other hand, if they're free, they're usually free because the people don't know what they're doing and you're going to have some work ahead of you. So it's a matter of what you like to do. Hopefully I got this all in the screen. This is all of the good stuff. This is what you want it to look like. Here's another. This is an example of what is the not so good stuff that you would kind of be probably getting rid of. It has lots of vegetable matter in it. I'm still getting used to talking to a camera, so bear with me. But yeah, so this is the stuff that's kind of on the borderline. And again, one more little shot of what this is really good stuff.
Okay, there's
this
one more
is something
I forgot to
that's
mention.
super good.
These fleeces are all ones that have
these
been
fleeces
uncoded.
This is the one that they
so they had no
I
coat,
lied.
so that's why you have
Look at
so
that.
much
See,
more
can you see
matter.
that?
If
this is
you're
why
going
we start,
a
and this
festival,
is why we make
or
what I call fleeces
you're gonna have
pieces,
a higher chance of finding
because as you're pulling
coated,
it apart, you're going to find this stuff.
Nothing like the burdock.
And this
that
is burdock.
I found in this one.
That's what
you're
you don't want in your fleeces.
Much easier to
so
skirt,
this is something that's going to go in the trash, because as soon as you pull that burdock away, it's got all little seeds in it, and it's going to go through the whole entire fleece. So keep that in like that ball form and just throw it away. And then the rest of it, see how there's like nothing in there? Like you can see, hopefully that's in there. But these are just locks, and there is no hay, no chaff, no vegetable. So this is what you want it to look like. So hopefully this is going to help. And the next. Okay. So once you have everything skirted, like I was showing you, make sure everything has all the shorts. There's no creepy crawlies in there. There's no burdock. There's no fleece breaks, all that kind of stuff. And then after that, you will be good to go and ready to wash. So this is going to be super exciting because things are going to totally change, and it's going to become a totally different fleece than what you started with. So that part's super exciting. So either drop it off in the mill and then you will be getting roving back soon, or you can move on to the washing. So if you want to wash yourself, which isn't that scary, it's not nearly as hard as everybody thinks it is. You can't do, the worst case scenario is that do it in small bits, so that way if anything happens, you know not to do it again. But you'll be fine. It's not anything that major. So yeah, so if you like, subscribe, make sure you follow us. Then we put the next video on how to wash your fleeces. You'll be ready to go.